Speaking of which, that was some love and some hate. Let's get to the bad. We got the drop.
Not good. Believe me, not good. No good. Really bad for you. Not good. Believe me, not good. But it looks like it could be something that will be not good. Believe me, not good.
Well, in fact, it was not good. It was Ellen DeGeneres taking a selfie with George W. Bush watching a baseball game. And it's funny because football. I want, what is it? Oh, they're watching, football. Cowboys game. They're watching Cowboys game, right, because Jerry Jones invited them up. I forgot. I always associate baseball with George W. Bush because I know that was like his dream was to manage the Texas Rangers. I wonder if
that was like the only thing on his resume when he became president. It wasn't only his dream.
Right. That was literally all he did. It was like drank till 40, got baseball job, then became governor. Lost one House race. I wonder if he became president of Major League Baseball, if he would have been as catastrophic. I mean, certainly a way less of a human toll. There might be a couple more million people left on the earth if he did that. But that being said, I want to draw a really sharp distinction here. I'm somebody who really does think that this society needs to be way more forgiving of each other and way kinder and really try to live that out in a lot of interpersonal relations and in culture and in prison policies and so on. And so my objection here is not aesthetic. It is that if you don't acknowledge, and most people have not done this, 99.9% of humans are not responsible for millions of people's deaths across the globe. This is a pretty exceptional extreme case here. And of course, George W. Bush ran a successful re-election campaign on literally putting into the Constitution that people like Ellen would be permanently second-class citizens in the United States. But Ellen's response to this and the photo op reveals something really deep about the hegemonic mood of the elite in this country.
During the game, they showed a shot of George and me laughing together, and so people were upset. They thought, why is a gay Hollywood liberal sitting next to a conservative Republican president? Didn't even notice I'm holding the brand new iPhone 11. But a lot of people were mad, and they did what people do when they're mad. They tweet, but here's one tweet that I loved. This person says, Ellen and George Bush together makes me have faith in America again. And
was, quote, an idiot.
Again. Exactly. Here's the thing. I'm friends with George Bush. In fact, I'm friends with a lot of people who don't share the same beliefs that I have. We're all different, and I think that we've forgotten that that's okay that we're all different. For instance, I wish people wouldn't wear fur. I don't like it, but I'm friends with people who wear fur. And I'm friends with people who are furry, as a matter of fact. I have friends who should tweeze more. And I have, but just because I don't agree with someone on everything doesn't mean that I'm not going to be friends with them. When I say be kind to one another, I don't mean only the people that think the same way that you do. I mean be kind to everyone. Doesn't matter.
So this is amazing because she's cheapening some actually very important principles that I actually do believe in. And we're also going to get to union busting in a second, which is a shared belief of George W. Bush and Ellen DeGeneres. And it might be evident in some of the quality of her writing staff with that bit there about tweezing. Not good. But being kind to people and trying to work across belief systems is a necessary part of life in some respects. Wearing fur is not the same thing as killing millions of people and instituting a global torture regime. The way you move past things like that is, in some cases, for crimes like that, there absolutely need to be prosecutions. But you also need something like a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. So in other words, if you want to put that play of recognizing shared humanity in even people who've committed the worst crimes, you have to go through what that history actually was. Not just say, we disagree. No, we disagree on, in fact, my fundamental rights to marry my wife as one thing. but also for all of the millions of dead and warehoused peoples and electroshocked people and black-sighted people and sanctions people and droned people and occupied people that can't speak. That is the problem, not being kind and working through differences. And not only is that a horrible application of that, she undermines those of us who are trying to actually say that there is a space for that in culture with this cheap and cynical reductionism. However, there might be an area where, to Ellen's credit, she has long shared a similar belief to George W. Bush. And the great David Feldman, check out his podcast, David Feldman Show, brought this to my attention. And now David Griscom, we have it up on screen.
Yeah, well,
He's going to read about Ellen and the writers' strike. Tell us about it.
Yeah, well, so in 2007, when there was the massive writers' strike with the WGA, the Writers Guild of America, Ellen canceled one show when it started, and then after that, immediately started recording her show again in Los Angeles with a different set of writers. So immediately, set up after being so sweet and showing her solidarity with people, immediately just became a scab.
I mean, was she finding the new writers on that day off of solidarity? Like, when did she find them?
And she was like, yep,
I'm going to take a day off in solidarity.
Yeah, day off in solidarity.
Scab.com.
Someone get me a directory of non-union protected writing staff.
It's bad enough because it's not just somebody, being a scab and not standing in solidarity with, workers. Ellen is a member of the WGA, as somebody who's a former comedy writer herself. So she betrayed her own community and people that she used to be much more on the ground floor level with. So, we're getting a lot of hypocrisy. And I think that this is a great example, though, to talk about what you were just saying. There's a difference between having different beliefs and having actions. And holding people accountable for their actions is absolutely important, and is exactly the kind of thing that we can need to be doing. While we can start to talk about, bringing people in of different beliefs or whatever, when people enact things that create, difficulties for other people, whether it's scabbing or being a massive war criminal like George W. Bush, right? It absolutely is very reasonable to hold them accountable for them and to be furious with them and to make a big deal about that, not just to forgive everybody blankly.
Well, I mean, we're not even talking about forgiving, though, because neither of these people are even acknowledging any wrongdoing. I mean, honestly, that's a whole other distinction. George W. Bush hasn't apologized for all of his bloodshed. Ellen hasn't just apologized for being a scab. And this is the pinnacle of politics of it's almost like the ideal of somebody gets to sit at home and go, oh man, isn't that so nice and satisfying? All right, now I need to go drive Uber for 50 hours in order to pay my rent.
Yeah, do you want to hear some quotes?
No material delivery.
This is from her being a scab.
Yes.
She says, personally, it's heartbreaking. Now, stop her there. I don't care personally. Personally, I don't care about personally
no
right now.
Boring.
It's not about you as a person, Ellen. I love my writers. We're a family. She whined, as Libcom writes.
That's great. They literally wrote she whined.
That's how labor reporting should be done.
That's terrific.
It's really
GM
hard.
Shareholders whined. It's great.
It's really hard to have to deal with. Wait, let me try to read this. It's really hard to have to deal with where they are and where I am because I'm kind of caught in the middle. The Writers Guild has contrasted the way she has, in their view, failed to stand by her writing staff and the way she broke down on air over a month ago over a tug of war she had with a pet adoption agency over a stray dog. And then this is what the Guild said. We find it sad that Ellen spent an entire week crying and fighting for a dog that she gave away, yet she couldn't even stand by writers for more than one day. Writers who have helped make her extremely successful. So I mean, that whole thing about personally it's very difficult, but I mean, we're a family. You're not a family if you're hiring a new family.
Yeah. We're a family, said the dad as he walked out the door to his second family.
There's something that really irks me about white liberals, especially, who can get so committed to animal rights issues. Not saying that those aren't important in themselves, but they can be so committed to those and then really turn their backs on so much of the human pain and suffering that's going on around them.
What is a Venn diagram between people who thought that this was moving and not disgusting and irrational hatred of Bernie Sanders? I mean, honestly, I think that tells you everything you need to know about what you're dealing with in the non-Republican Party. If you thought that was kind of gross and hypocritical, you probably have a pretty good grasp on politics. You like Bernie. If you thought that was amazing and Yas Queen and, George W. Bush might have presided over human pyramids and a just wanton destruction of Afghanistan and Iraq, but, by golly, he never did an impression of somebody with muscular dystrophy, and that's your baseline for a president, well, you probably hate Bernie too.
You just watched a Michael Brooks show video. Subscribe to get them all. Why wouldn't you? Don't be foolish. Click subscribe below and become a patron as well. Patreon.com/TMBS. Thanks, everybody.